family, good morning. Today is Monday, August 18th. For today's video, or this week's video, I have quite a few things planned, which we'll talk about in a bit. But for right now, let's check out, see how the tank's doing. As you can see, tank's looking a little bit cloudy, but not too bad. Nothing that the tank shouldn't be able to handle on its own. Lotus is loving the Buddha corner with the moss balls. She's been exploring all of the plants all over the tank, up and down. It's been really fun to see. Marty's just been chilling over here in the Cave of Wonders.
Huh? Cave of Wonders?
Not too sure if you can see him. It's a little bit dark in there. Then we got Mega Doodoo over here, cleaning all the algae off the pot. And lastly, Dee Dee. She's hanging out in one of the logs, the floating log. Not too sure how she got in there or how she's gonna get out, but in the event that she gets stuck, I'll just help her get down. But yeah, that's how the tank is looking like right now. So some advice that I got from our subscriber, shout out to Mexicali Fishkeeper. I'll put his channel link in the description down below so you could check out all of his videos. He did point out that algae bloom could be present in the tank if we leave the light on for too much. Something that I realized that I might have been doing is leaving the light on too long while I'm filming the tank itself. So for the past couple days, just been leaving the tank light off. And I'm gonna turn it off now that we're done filming the tank. So I'll keep that up. Shout out to you again. It's been really beneficial. Yesterday the tank was pretty algae-y, but right now it's looking pretty clear. So really happy about that. Again, shout out to Mexicali Fishkeeper, whose link will be in the description. So, as I mentioned, I do have some ideas for this video this week. But before I get into any of that, I do just want to take a moment and say thank you to all of you for 10 subscribers. Not really sure what my plan is with this channel. Obviously, it'd be nice to do this as more of a full-time thing, but everybody who has a big channel nowadays had to start from somewhere. So thank you so much for giving me my start. And without further ado, let's get into some of my ideas that I have for this week. So some of the things that I wanted to do for this week's video would be to showcase the tank at night. I haven't put any clips of that just because honestly it looks really cool and I want that to kind of be its own thing. So I'll showcase that in this video. I also wanted to possibly set up a shrimp and snail tank. I did recently purchase a 3.5 gallon tank off of Facebook Marketplace for only $15, which was pretty cool. Looking online, it seems like that price range for that size of tank is about $30-ish to $40. So getting that for $15 was kind of a steal. So I do want to know, definitely leave some comments if you can on what we should do with that second tank. I'll showcase that later in this video. And then I also wanted to talk about some of the things that I've learned as a first-time aquarium owner. Things like water chemicals, dark water versus light water, things that I honestly didn't even know were things until I started this hobby. And then last but not least, today will be a feeding day for Lotus. On Saturday, when we picked up the fish from Petco, they did let me know that she was already fed. So I do want to kind of showcase her diet that I'm planning on giving to her, as well as feed her today since it will be our first feed day. My plan is to feed her today and then offset every other day as she gets acclimated to the tank. Something that I was made aware of in doing some research was that if you feed them too much when they first get there, feeding leads to pooping, and pooping means that there's going to be more ammonia levels present in the tank. So to deter ourselves from having to deal with that as much, we're going to be giving her a low diet for now. Obviously, if you have any advice on this, please let me know. But for now, that's kind of what the plan is for this week's video. When it came to Lotus's diet, I found that it was best to make sure I give her a variety of different kinds of foods. So I have 2 different brands of beta pellets, like Extreme Aquatic Foods right here, as well as the Beta BioGold, which I think should do a good job of giving her different kinds of nutrients. I also, as a special treat, got her some frozen bloodworms. I'm gonna hold off on giving her these right now though, just because I want to see how she does in the tank with these beta pellets. So for now, why don't we feed her some of those? Something I also think is important for our feeding routine for Lotus is to kind of keep consistency in when she knows it's feeding time. I've been keeping the lid on the tank pretty much the whole time since I put it on. That way she can get used to when she knows I'm there opening the tank. So for now, let's take off the light and remove our makeshift lid that we got here, which, by the way, has been working out very, very well. I also added these two little duct tape handles that have been helping with its removal. I'll actually put the light back on for now, just so we can turn it on just to get a quick look at Lotus while she eats. Maybe that'll also help her know that it's time to eat. Another thing I also kind of want to train Lotus on is eating inside of the floating log. There's this little opening at the top that I think I'll just start dropping food in, and hopefully she'll get used to knowing that that's where her food is. I also think this will help her in adjusting to the tank and knowing where she can eat at. So let's give her some pellets now. For this first feed, I'm gonna give her some of this beta biogold, which I've just put a couple of pellets in my hand, planning on just pinching them out and putting them in just like this. So you try to get her attention. Hey, look over here. So it did take a while for Lotus to notice her food, which was to be expected as this was my first time feeding her. I don't think she was really used to seeing that happen. I did eventually start to bring the pellets closer to her to try to attract her to her home, and that's when I dumped the handful into the tank. I think something I'll do next time though is to wait to dump that handful into her spot once she's there, so that way the pellets don't get too bulky or soaked by the water. This is also a pretty cool clip because you can see Dee Dee right there making her way to the bottom of the log. She eventually got down, so I didn't have to help her. So that was also pretty cool to document. All right, now that Lotus has eaten, I'm gonna go ahead and put the lid back on and turn off the light. Up next, I wanted to showcase to y'all the 3.5 gallon tank that I recently purchased. Like I mentioned, got it on Facebook Marketplace for about $15. I believe the previous owner said that they used it as a terrarium, so that's why it's a little bit dirty. Here, actually, I'll show that a little bit better. See, it's kind of cloudy in there. We'll definitely need to clean it up a little bit. What I did first though, however, was to make sure it didn't have any leaks. So I did fill it up all the way and let it sit on the counter for like a day. So no leaks were present, so I'm gonna pull through and start cleaning this up. Initially, I wanted to use it because of all the salvia minima that I have. I have a bunch left over from when I purchased it, and I want to keep cultivating it and maybe even start selling that on Facebook Marketplace, so that way I can recuperate some of the funds that I've been spending so far on the hobby. So yeah, let's get into cleaning the tank right now. After a quick rinse down with some warm water, here's what our tank is looking like. It's looking pretty clear other than a couple smudges here and there, but that should be fine. My hope with this tank is that y'all will actually leave me some suggestions down below. Any advice you have, I'm very much open to it. I've been really enjoying the hobby so far and learning as I go. So I think I want to start fresh with this new tank using the advice and support from you guys. So definitely let me know down below any ideas that you have. Other than thinking about possibly getting some shrimp or snails for the 3.5 gallon tank, we've also cleared out this little corner in the living room space. You can see our other tank right here. I think it'd be kind of cool to have them in the same room. I also plan to fill the corner with some of this snake plant, which you can see in this big pot is starting to shoot out to the sides. I think if I put them into some smaller pots, they'll be able to stand up nice and straight and fill out the corner over here with the tank.
After repotting the snake plants into these two smaller and more stable pots for the plant, it's starting to really fill out this corner. I also had some leftover foam adhesive that I added to the bottom of this tank to help with the stability of the tank. Here we are in the living room again. It is now nighttime. Here's what the tank looks like in night mode. As I mentioned before, we are still building up our light schedule right now since the tank is brand new and the plants are still getting used to the light levels in there. We're just letting the tank be dark, but just to showcase what it looks like, here's the night mode. So I know earlier in the video I mentioned wanting to talk about my lessons that I've had as a first-time fish keeper, but I think I want to pause for a second and acknowledge some of the reasons why I started the channel in the first place and the reasons why I'm continuing to post here on YouTube. I had recently just finished college and I found myself having just a lot more time that I didn't really know what to do with, and I wanted a new hobby. I had bounced around the idea of owning a fish for a really long time, but I didn't want to just have a fish in a glass bowl. I wanted to be able to really own a pet and give it like a really good life. And I figured that if I found the right information and if I had the right materials, that I could do so. After watching a lot of YouTube videos, like tons and tons of YouTube videos from big channels on YouTube, just whenever I generally searched around, picking the first video and watching that whole video all the way through while writing down some notes and making sure I had like a materials list of all the things I would need if I were to start a fish tank. I felt ready, but I didn't really want to pull the trigger yet. And that's when I got a final push of encouragement from my tia Nena and my partner Vanessa. So I really want to give a big shout out to them for pushing me to have this new hobby. And it's also given me another creative outlet. Having this channel has been filling a lot of my time, and that's such a good thing because I didn't really know what to do before. I've been spending so much time filming these videos, thinking about these videos, editing these videos, and trying to come up with new ideas that we can have on the horizon for this channel. I only started filming because I wanted to showcase my new hobby to my family, and I live pretty far away from them, so I don't get to see them on a day-to-day basis, and this platform has just been a really easy way for me to do that. So again, shout out to all of my family members who are encouraging me right now, and shout out to all of our subscribers who are joining the channel. That is definitely keeping me motivated to continue filming these videos and to continue posting. All that being said, it has been such a fun time joining the fish keeping hobby, as well as the YouTube community who has been so welcoming. Again, make sure to leave a comment down below on any advice you have for me or any ideas you have for the channel. Make sure to check out next week's video. See ya!